My wife, well, my almost wife, stood in our living room holding a packed suitcase when she said it. I need to find myself before the wedding. I'm moving back with my ex-boyfriend to clear my head. The way she said it was calm, practice, like she rehearsed every word in front of a mirror. Her tone didn't tremble. Mine did. I swallowed hard and forced a small smile. Take all the time you need. She blinked, as if surprised that I wasn't going to fight. Maybe she wanted me to beg, to chase her, to prove I was worth staying for. But I didn't. I just stood there, quiet, tired, done. She left the next morning. No tears, no note, just a faint smell of her perfume, and the engagement ring she forgot to wear. I sat alone at the table, staring at the 2 cups of coffee I'd made out of habit. One was getting cold. The one I used to hand her while she scrolled through her phone and said things like, "This wedding's going to be perfect." Perfect. That's the word she always used. Perfect dress. Perfect venue. Perfect Instagram posts. But not once did she say, perfect marriage. 2 days later, I took the ring, the one I spent 3 months' salary on, and sold it. The jeweler didn't ask why, and I didn't explain. I took the cash, canceled the honeymoon, and bought a ticket to Paris. 1 seat. No return date. I told myself it was revenge, that I'd go and live the life she didn't think I could handle. But the truth? I just wanted to breathe, somewhere she wasn't. Paris was gray when I arrived. Clouds heavy, streets wet with the kind of rain that made everything glisten. I rented a small apartment near Montmartre. Every morning, I walked until my legs ached and my thoughts went quiet. I watched couples laugh over coffee, artists painting strangers' faces, children chasing pigeons through narrow alleys. For the first time in months, the world felt real again. One afternoon, I sat outside a cafe, sketching the Eiffel Tower on a napkin. I wasn't an artist, but drawing helped keep my hands busy. That's when she appeared, a woman with dark hair, holding an umbrella that barely shielded her from the drizzle. She asked in soft English, "Is a seat taken?" I shook my head. Her name was Amelie. She worked at a bookstore nearby and stopped at the cafe every day after work. She laughed easily, spoke slowly, and had a way of making silence feel comfortable. I told her about the ring, about the wedding that never happened, about the woman who needed to find herself. She didn't interrupt, didn't judge. She just listened, eyes full of something rare, understanding. When I finished, she said something I never forgot. Sometimes people don't leave to find themselves. They leave because they're afraid someone else already found them. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about it, about how much I had given to someone who saw me as a stepping stone to her next phase of life. I realized I'd spent years trying to be her idea of a man, successful, calm, unbothered. Instead of just being me, days turned into weeks. Paris began to feel like a heartbeat I'd been missing. I explored the city like it was therapy. The hidden gardens, the bridges where strangers left locks of love, the late-night music spilling from cafes. Then one morning, I opened my email and froze. It was from her. Subject, "Can we talk?" I almost deleted it, but curiosity won. I've made a mistake. I thought I needed space, but I just needed to remember what we had. I came back to our place, and it feels so empty without you. Please come home. Let's fix this. She ended it with, "I still love you." For a long time, I stared at the screen. Once, those words would have broken me. Now, they just sounded like echoes from a life I'd already left behind. I didn't reply right away. I went to the cafe instead. Amelie was there, reading under the same umbrella, even though it wasn't raining. I sat down and told her about the email. She smiled sadly. "Will you go back?" I shook my head. "There's nothing left to go back to." She nodded slowly. "Then you found herself too." That night, we walked along the Seine. Paris shimmered like a promise. She told me her story, how she once left someone she loved because she thought she could do better, only to learn that better doesn't always mean happier. By the time the city lights reflected on the water, I realized something. I wasn't running from heartbreak anymore. I was walking toward peace. A few days later, I replied to the email. Just one line. "Thank you for helping me find myself too." No anger. No closure speech. Just honesty. She never wrote back. And that was fine. Months passed. I stayed in Paris. I worked remotely, learned French badly, ate too many croissants, and learned that healing isn't about forgetting. It's about forgiving yourself for loving someone who couldn't love you right. Amelie and I never defined what we were. We didn't need to. We shared laughter, long walks, quiet mornings, and the kind of understanding that doesn't demand permanence. One evening, as we watched the sunset from the Pont des Arts, she said, "You know, you could have hated her, but you didn't." I smiled. Hate takes too much space. I'd rather fill it with something better. "Like Paris?" she teased. "Like peace," I said. She leaned her head on my shoulder, and for the first time since everything fell apart, I realized I wasn't the man she left behind. I was someone new, someone whole. When people say heartbreak changes you, they're right, but it doesn't always break you down. Sometimes it rebuilds you, quietly, beautifully, piece by piece, in a city you never planned to visit, under skies you never thought you'd see alone. And maybe that's what finding yourself really means. Not escaping the pain, but learning to live fully in spite of it. So when I think of her now, the one who needed to find herself, I hope she did, because I found myself too. And I didn't need to lose everything to do it. Just her,